Welcome to this edition of Get to Know Your Wayne State Football Program, Season Preview Edition. Joining Coach Winters, I'm Jeff Weiss, Sports Information Director. Paul, 2019 ended in grand fashion, winning 8 of your final 9 games.
Grand fashion, I like that.
Yep.
Yes, that's the best way to
If I could tell you I planned that, I would,
No,
but I
that's
can't.
the best way to end the season. I love it. What was it, 31 to something?
14.
Oh, 14? I think it was 17. I'll give it 17. We won by 14. I don't know what it was, but it was grand fashion.
Thank you. Well, let's talk about 21 season. Obviously, 20, we didn't get to see each other much last year, if
Not
at all.
Yeah.
Well, a few Zoom meetings here and there.
Exactly.
But obviously this year, we were talking off camera, 86 of the 118 guys have never played in college. Because basically, you've got a redshirted class from 2019, the class from 2020 redshirted, and your recruits from 21. That's
You're trying to depress me right now.
no, I
aren't
was trying to give you a few more gray hairs so you catch up to me. I mean, what do you do, thinking about August camp with that many young guys,
you?
or that lack of experience?
Well, here's the thing, and this is a little bit of the frustration of the 2020 year. Obviously, we didn't play any games, but I think we have a great coaching staff, and I think that given an opportunity to coach these guys, we really could have had them catch up kind of with that lack of experience. But we were, you know what happened at Wayne State. We were shut down at least twice at the end of both semesters. And those were the times when we were expecting to be in full pads. So we lost a lot of practice opportunities. So going into this summer camp, that's a major concern for us. If you said, what's your biggest concern in your football team? And it's just a lack of experience.
Obviously, a couple of positions that are on the opposite end of the spectrum. We were talking to Coach Kazmersky earlier. I mean, it seems like he's got 3 deep at every position that's played in college.
You know who my recruiting coordinator
Exactly.
is.
I was going to ask about that.
He somehow he mind tricks me and says, we have to have another D tackle. We have to have another D tackle. Next thing you know, we have 8 D tackles at at both positions. So I don't care. You win in the trenches, so we feel good about that.
And obviously, offensive line with Landon Mitchell,
Lane Potter, Joe Zetas,
Reed
Reed Thompson, they've all been starters for us.
Kevin Sconning, you got Cooper Kukul, you've got guys.
Krishan Roberts hasn't played, but Krishan Roberts has really stepped up, and right now, going into camp, is probably going to be a starter.
So, I mean, yeah, you've got like the depth there, like we talked about. You said you win in the trenches. You've got guys there. And obviously, it had to be a good thing. 3 academic all-district guys, tied for most in the region, and 2 of them are offensive linemen. So
yeah, those guys, they're the pillars of the program. They're the guys that communicate with the younger guys, and they set the expectation for the younger guys of what we expect from the program, and they just do it by example. They work so hard. They do things right. They're academically outstanding, and you just put the tape on and you say, oh, they can also play.
Yeah,
They're really good football players.
and a shout out to Stephen Glenn, who was our 3rd academic all-district recipient. So obviously, guys graduated. I mean, you lost a number of guys who graduated over the last year. Justin Rao, Terry Sanders from the D-line.
Right.
Stephen Glenn. But, I mean, that's what they're here in college for, is to graduate.
Exactly. And they all had opportunities to come back. They were all invited to come back. They all wanted to come back. But in each situation, they all had jobs that were waiting on them. And it was like, Coach, I'd love to play another year, but I've already got a job that I've committed to. And Ian Sharp's another one, who was a good player for us, and he got a job as an engineer. So, it's like, okay, start your however many $1,000 a year job or play another year of football. Start your job.
And no, I mean, that's exactly what a Wayne State education can do for you. So,
Absolutely.
schedule for this upcoming year, a little different. Still have 3 non-conference games at the beginning of the year, but with Ashland leaving the GLIAC, they decided to go with playing a non-conference double against one team this year.
Yeah.
It's Saginaw for us. We get them at home the end of September, then head up to University Center later in the year.
Yeah, there was a lot of controversy in the league. We had quite a few meetings and discussions last year by Zoom. teams were saying that, well, you don't want to play us, or we don't want to play them, or we don't want to travel, to the UP twice. So there was a lot of going back and forth, and I think as it was finalized, and it'll change probably after the year, I think it's probably the best for everyone right now.
Obviously, opening up with Slippery Rock, who was in the national semifinals in 2019, when we had I think it was the 6th toughest schedule in the country. And then you get Truman at home, who played in a bowl game, so it'll be interesting start to the year.
It was a great schedule. It really was, and the challenges that we had at the beginning of the season made us stronger, and obviously allowed us to finish in grand fashion at the end of the season. So we were, we'll take that every year. We'll play that schedule. This is going to be a strange year because, like I said, we haven't had a lot of practice. But in a normal year, with a normal spring practice, and the returning guys that we have and everything else, I'll take that schedule every day of the week, because we're going to play the very best. We're going to compete, and ideally win the majority of those games, and it'll give us an opportunity to go to the next level and play in the playoffs. I think that 2019 team, if they go to the playoffs, we're at that point of the season ready to play against anybody in the country, including the teams that had beaten us earlier in the year.
Absolutely. Well, thanks again for watching this edition of Get to Know Your Wayne State Football Program.